nightmare for all those applying to Delhi University is finally over. The 4-year undergraduate course, or FYUP, has finally been scrapped. In its place, the original 3-year format. Admissions should be starting anytime soon. We are not clear when. But if you have any queries regarding courses, regarding colleges, admissions, careers, anything really, you can just call us on 0120-434-1895 or write into our website ibnlive.com. Answering all your questions today is Zubin Malhotra of Career Guidance India. Zubin, thank you very much for coming in. That huge mess at Delhi University finally over, huge relief. But did you have students coming to you worried?
Yes, absolutely. Both students who are now going into the second year, as well as those who've applied and contemplating between various options at Delhi University and other universities where they've applied for. A lot of confusion for them. Whether do we wait? Do we go ahead and put in our money and start a course elsewhere? So yeah, it's been a tough, tense days, and it's still not completely over right now. They've just said that they're going to scrap the 4-year program and revert to the 3-year system. But how they're going to roll out the admissions, whether it's going to be a fresh forms that students need to fill in, or whether everyone can apply to whichever course, what happens to the BTech programs. There's still a lot of questions to be answered. Hopefully over the next couple of days those answers should come through.
Yeah, hopefully by Monday some answers should come through. Let's take our first question there. This is the Anshita joining us this hour. Hi Anshita, please go ahead with your question.
Hi, it's Anshita this side. My question is that do I need to do a graduation course in fashion designing first, or can I just get into the industry like that, or maybe can I start up my business on a small scale and then do my graduation in any other course?
Anshita, obviously I think from your question you've just finished school. My advice to you would be take up a course in fashion designing. Alongside doing that course, you'll get to do internships, you'll get to study, you'll get to understand various aspects and markets that you can enter through fashion designing, whether it's children's wear, knitwear, leisure wear, international wear. Do you want to do Indian ethnic? There are various things. You want to do high market or mass market. So there are a lot of questions that you'll need to answer before you can actually get into a business of your own. Perhaps even after completing your graduation program, work a year or two, learn the ropes at somebody else's expense, and then think of starting off on your own.
Zubin, very quickly then, what are the places you would recommend? What institutions would you recommend for fashion design?
There are several. They're all over the country. It's now very, very popular. In fact, a fairly mainstream program for both boys and girls. There's, of course, the NIFTs, and there are about 13, 15 of them across the country. You have other places such as NID, Srishti, Pearl, and other centers all across the country. So, a good basic program which teaches you the basics, and then you learn on and move on later.
Sure. Next caller from Shruti. Hi Shruti, you're calling from Delhi. Please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Shruti, and my question is that now it is clear that FYUP has been totally scrapped off. So now I have completed my first year under this FYUP course. So my question is, how do we go about the 3-year program? Because earlier what was meant to be completed in the 4 years would now have to be completed in the 2 years program.
Correct. So as I understand it, of course, this is still educated guesses. What they're essentially going to do is what you were otherwise under the 4-year program would have done in terms of your discipline 1 courses in the 2nd year, 3rd year and 4th year will now, for your batch, be compressed in a 2-year span. I'm not sure that they've as yet been sat down with academic committees and faculties and actually worked out how it's going to be done. Will they drop some courses and what will happen? But essentially there's going to be some compressing, certainly if not of the content, at least in the time duration that you do it. But the batch that entered in 2013-14, that's your batch, will now pass out in 3 years. That means another 2 years from now you will have your honors degrees, and that's how you will pass out.
So Shruti, essentially the best thing to do right now is just wait for some sort of clarity to come in. No point panicking about this. Anything else that you'd want to ask?
Would DC2 course would be included?
I don't think so. They're not going to have the time to do it. The 4-year program allowed the luxury of students to, which was one of the aspects that I did like about it, I have to admit. But I don't think that they'll be able to include the DC2 program, at least for your batch, given that you have only 2 years to basically complete the entire honours 3-year program.
Shruti, thanks very much for calling us. I do believe we have Nishtha on the phone line with us now. Hi Nishtha, go ahead please.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Yeah, so my question is, after finishing my graduation, should I pick up a job or should I go for masters?
Could you be a little more specific, please?
Sir, I'm saying after completing my graduation, should I pick up a job or should I go for masters or post-graduation?
A lot would depend, Nishtha, I think, on what you want to do and what course you're doing.
At the bachelor's level, as well as what area you're looking to explore at the master's level. If you're, yeah, go ahead.
I'm pursuing journalism and mass communication.
Oh, okay. And further on at the postgraduate level, is journalism or mass comm an area that you'd like to continue in?
I like to pursue mass communication.
Okay, so given that you've already done a bachelor's level program, to my mind, I think you should work for a year or two. It'll help you, clarify and put things in perspective as to what specific area within journalism or mass communication that you'd like to get into. The practical experience and exposure that you will get having worked for a year or two will further help you specialize and relate to aspects that you'll study at the master's level. So yes, by all means, I think at least work for a year, if not 2 years, before jumping into your postgrad.
Nishtha, any other follow-up question?
No, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, Nisha, thank you very much for calling us. We next have Assis on the phone line with us. Hi, Assis, please go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
My question was that before we joined Delhi University, when the 4-year system was introduced, a lot of people were planning to go to America to pursue their further studies. You're supposed to have a minimum prerequisite of 4 years before you go abroad to study. So if that system is scrapped off as in now, and you have only 3 years to study, what happens to the plans of the people further? And are we supposed to repeat a year, or what are we supposed to do in terms of our planning to study abroad?
Okay. American universities or the American education system is a 4-year undergraduate system. So they, in fact, if you were to relate it to an Indian system, becomes a 10 plus 2 plus 4. Now with DU going back to a 10 plus 2 plus 3, but let's remember most of the other Indian universities, at least for programs in arts, commerce, humanities, basic sciences, were still following a 3-year program. Now how American universities view this actually depends from the university to university that you apply at. Some universities, having seen several Indian students come over the years, are fairly happy and okay with students and the academic level that they have, having just completed their bachelor's program here, which is the 3 years, and you go straight into a master's. Some universities may ask you to at least do either some coursework in America or at least complete 1 year of a master's or a PG diploma program here. Other universities that I know of not only require you to complete the first year of your master's, but in fact complete that program. That means complete your master's, the 2 years of it, and then apply and get into the master's level program in the US. I'm sorry, but I don't have a one-size-fits-all answer for you. It really will depend on the university that you apply to, which in turn will look at the course content that you have, match it with their university's program that they do at the undergraduate level. I would suggest write to a few of the universities that you are considering and see how they reply and what they say.
Anis, has that answered your question, Anis?
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Assis, for calling in. Next, Zubin, we have Divyam, and she's standing by with a question from Jaipur. Hi, Divyam, please go ahead.
My name is Divyam Goyal. I am from Jaipur. My query is, I have taken BTech in aerospace engineering. So is there any scope in India, or I should apply abroad for this?
Certainly there is scope, but let's understand we don't really have any commercial airline industry to speak of in our country. Aerospace as an area still comes under the government control, whether it's through ISRO where it comes to satellites, DRDO whether it's rockets, or then with the Air Force and the Navy where it comes to managing, maintenance, etc. of fighter aircraft. In the civilian space, while we don't, as I mentioned, we don't have a commercial industry, there are of course Airbus and Boeing which operate extensively. Indian Airlines use them. So therefore there is a lot of work around the maintenance, repair, overhaul of those, where with simply a BTech in aerospace engineering you could go, or after completing your BTech here, you could apply for a master's abroad and then look at opportunities there.
Divyam, I hope that's answered your question. Next, again, we have a caller from Delhi. This is Trisha Bhavani calling us. Hi, Trisha. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I'm pursuing BJMC from Delhi University currently, and I gave my first year exam this time. But because of the FIUP plan, like we were not really given the practical knowledge of the subjects, and because of this, my interest has been variated. So, can you suggest me what to do? I am thinking to apply again for psychology honors from Delhi University again.
If you've not reapplied, I'm not sure right now in the process you will have an opportunity to put in, fill in the form and get into the admissions process. If they do throw that open, sure, do consider it. But also realize that typically, in the 4-year undergraduate program, the first year did have a lot of foundation courses, not too much of your main discipline courses.
Yeah.
Secondly, even when there was a 3-year structure, the first year program is still laying a foundation, teaching you about basic aspects within journalism and mass communication. So the practical aspects which actually kick in the 3rd or the 2nd year, as well as when you do your internship. So don't let the experience of the first year dissuade you from the course.
But which is a better option, psychology or BJMC?
Both lead to great careers. It depends on the direction that you want to take, your interests, your abilities. Having said that, you can do a bachelor's in psychology and yet do a master's in journalism or mass communication, but the reverse is not necessarily, while technically possible, you would face a much difficult time in getting into a master's of psychology program without a foundation at the bachelor's level of doing psychology.
Trisha, has that answered your question?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for calling in. A quick question there for clarity.
Yeah.
If I'm a 2nd year student, I don't like my course,
Yeah.
I'm a 1st year student, don't like my course. In my 2nd year, can I reapply to another subject? Is that something that can be easily done?
You would have to drop out.
Yeah.
You would have to formally drop out of the university and reapply. While technically there's nothing barring you, they could look at, given that they will not bar you from reapplying, and as long as you have the marks and the best of 4 subjects to do that, sure you can. But in her case, as we were just talking to her, to be able to do it now, where the application forms and that deadline is already over, I'm not so sure if she could do that now.
Okay, next up we have Reshma Vinod from Kerala, who's standing by with a question. Hi Reshma, please go ahead.
Myself Reshma Vinod, and I completed 12th, and humanities was my core subject, and I want to know more about HR, and I want to pursue my career in HR, so that I want to know what are the scopes and what are the advanced in HR firm.
All right, HR or human resource management is a arm or a specialization that you could do either at the master's level for doing a psychology program, which would be an organizational behavior, or as a specialization when you do an MBA program, which would you specialize in the 2nd year. Companies, organizations, they all need a team of dedicated professionals who manage the people and the people related issues. It starts from before and during when somebody is hired till when they leave the company, whether voluntarily or are fired, and everything in between. Now, what is that everything else in between? It covers training, it covers onboarding, it covers periodic evaluation, it covers payroll and benchmarking. So there are several aspects so the term currently in vogue is human capital management, that we're saying that the strength of an organization is actually the people working in it. So how do you keep them motivated? How do you best train them to meet the challenges that the industry or the sector they are in, and that's what an HR professional essentially involves themselves with.
Zubin, I do need to take a very quick break, but I do believe we have Shumona who's on the phone line with us, so let's just speak to her. Hi Shumona, please go ahead with your question.
Hello, I'm pursuing BJ from Delhi University. I have to ask that we are assumed to now the FIUP is going to be 3 years. So how we have to study? It's very hard for us to study a 3-year program, 3-year course in 2 years. It's
Alright.
hectic for us.
What did you say again you were pursuing?
BJMC, Bachelor in Journalism.
All right. Oh, all right. Yes, these are stressful times for you.
Yes,
I
I
understand that. This is the guinea pig batch. Many are calling them that. Zubin, go ahead.
Well, the guinea pig batch is the one going in. That's what earlier was the talk, and now it's actually the ones who've already completed a year. Shreya, number one, take a deep long breath and then repeat that 5 times. Calm down, don't panic. There's no question with related to the validity of your degree. Give the university officials a little time. You still have time till when colleges reopen. They'll figure out what they need to do and they'll communicate it to you in terms of what they're going to do for the students who are already completed a year and how they're now going to compress the following 3 years, which you were anticipating, into 2 years. Please understand that right now the priority for the university, at least the administration of the university, will be on the batch that's going to get admission into, right, in terms of cutoffs, how they're going to rejig the courses, how do they take admission. Parallelly, there will be teams of faculties, academic councils for different courses who will work out exactly for course by course how they're going to move ahead. Just give it a little time, wait for them to come back with the details of it. There's any way your panicking or getting stressed out is not going to help in either the university or yourself. I know these are really difficult times with a lot of question marks, but continue doing what you were doing, keep reading up, do internships if you can, and keep your fingers crossed.
And absolutely no point panicking if
None
you've
at all.
already
None
applied
at all.
or if you're already in Delhi University under that FYUP program. We'll take a very quick break on this show. You keep your questions coming in. You know where to call us. 0120-434-1895. Back in a bit. Okay, welcome back. You are with Campus Calling. We are taking any admission related questions you may have. You know where to call us. You can call us on 0120-434-1895 or just post your questions on our website ibnlive.com. I do believe we have Suktikar on the phone line with us from Odisha.
Yes.
Hi, I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Yeah, Shukti.
Yeah, all right. Sukti, go ahead with your question.
Okay. Yes, I am asking on behalf of my son.
Okay.
Actually, my son has got a good rank in IIT.
Okay.
But he is interested for 4-year undergraduate program in Indian Institute of Science in Bengaluru.
Okay.
Okay. So is it okay to go for this course, Indian Institute of Science 4-year undergraduate program?
Yes, it's a bachelor's.
Actually, yes.
It's a Bachelor's of Science program. The admission route is through the JEE advanced result that comes through.
But he has got admitted through KVPY.
Through the Kishore Vaigyanik Protsahan Yojana?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Do understand that 4-year Bachelor of Science program at the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore is not a typical traditional B.Tech or an engineering program. As I understand it and having looked at the course structure, it has more of an interdisciplinary feel to it. In the first year or two, you study subjects across disciplines, and then in your 3rd and 4th year, you actually get to choose and specialize in the area that you would like to go in, including applied sciences, pure sciences, as well as engineering related areas. So it certainly is a very good course. It's a prestigious course. In the science and technology area, if there's a place after the IITs or ranks amongst the better, along with the better IITs, it is the Indian Institute of Science. So I don't think you really need to be worried too much about that program and about your son going there.
I think the question she's trying to ask is, should he be choosing the Indian Institute of Science over IIT? It's a tough decision
It is
to
a
make.
tough. The IITs, by their name, have a great brand name associated, a global recall, and it sort of pegs you at a certain level the moment on your resume, or you say that I'm from an IIT. The answer to this depends on what is it that he's looking to do. If he's clear about pursuing a certain area of engineering, and rarely at students straight after class 12 are that sure, then perhaps an IIT course does. But if he's more curious about different areas of science or wants to even look at pursuing a career in research later, I think the IISc program may be a better bet.
And Sukti, the best thing to do is just let him choose. Let him make up his mind, let him choose. I hope we've managed to answer your question though. All right, I think we've lost the line to Sukti, but possibly timely. Thank you very much, Sukti, for calling in, and thank you, Zubin, very much for coming in. We'll, of course, see all our viewers and students same time, same place next week. Do keep your questions coming in. Thanks for watching.